Have you ever noticed that some people don't push others away because they hate being loved? They push people away because they're convinced that if anyone truly knew them, their failures, their shame, their anger, their past, love would eventually become impossible. So before anyone gets the chance to leave, they leave first. It doesn't look like fear. It looks like independence. It looks like strength. It looks like, I'm okay. But underneath, it's a quiet belief that whispers, I'm safer if I carry everything alone. That was Nico Robin. By the time she stood before the world government, she wasn't simply running from enemies. She was running from love. For 20 years, she believed one devastating lie, that her existence only brought suffering to the people who cared about her. So, when the Straw Hats came to rescue her, she didn't see it as hope. She saw it as another tragedy waiting to happen. She believed the most loving thing she could do was disappear. The first time I watched Enies Lobby, I thought I was watching one of the greatest rescue scenes ever written. Years later, I realized I wasn't just watching Robin. I was watching a part of myself. The more I reflected on this story, the less I felt like I was analyzing Robin. And the more it felt like Robin was quietly analyzing me. Because this isn't just a story of a woman rescued from the world government. It's the story of someone who couldn't believe they're worth rescuing in the first place. And maybe that's why this scene has made millions of people cry. Not because we've all lived Robin's lives, but because somewhere, in ways both big and small, many of us believe the same lie. Robin's greatest prison wasn't Enies Lobby. It wasn't CP9. It wasn't even the world government. Those were only walls. The real prison had been built years earlier. A little girl watched her homeland burn. She lost her mother. She lost soul. She watched every hand that tried to protect her disappear. And after 20 years of betrayal, one conclusion quietly settled into her heart. That's what trauma often does. It doesn't just leave scars. It teaches lies. Lies that slowly become the lens through which we see ourselves. I'm too much. I'm broken. I'm the problem. People would be better off without me. After enough repetition, those lies stop feeling like lies. They begin to feel like reality. Robin didn't surrender to the world government because she was weak. She surrendered because she genuinely believed sacrificing herself was the only way to save the people she loved. That's what makes Enies Lobby so heartbreaking. Robin isn't choosing death. She's choosing what she believes is love. She thinks that carrying the burden alone is an act of kindness. She thinks isolation is mercy. And maybe that's why her story feels so painfully familiar. Because while most of us have never been hunted across the seas, many of us have built quieter prisons. We hide behind success, behind humor, behind work, behind endless distractions, behind carefully constructed versions of ourselves. Not because we're trying to deceive people, but because we're terrified that if someone saw everything, they'd eventually decide we weren't worth the trouble. I know that feeling. Not because my story looks like Robin's. It doesn't. But because I spent years searching for ways to fix a heart that quietly believed it had to carry everything by itself. I thought if I become wiser, more disciplined, more self-aware, more in control, maybe then I'd finally become someone worth keeping. Looking back, I don't think I was just searching for answers. I think I was searching for permission to stop carrying the weight. I just didn't know where to find it. If Robin's prison was the belief that she wasn't worth saving, then my prison looked different. I believe I could eventually become someone who didn't need saving. Not overnight, not through one decision, but one step at a time. If I just searched long enough, learned enough, understood myself deeply enough, maybe I could finally become whole. Looking back, I don't think I was searching for truth. I was searching for self sufficiency. Robin spent 20 years surviving by depending only on herself. Every alliance was temporary. Every relationship had an expiration date. Trust became dangerous. Independence becomes survival. It looks strong until you realize it's also incredibly lonely. I knew that feeling, not because I was running from the world government, but because I slowly became convinced that healing was something I had to accomplish on my own. So I searched. Ironically, my first stop wasn't atheism. It was New Age spirituality. It promised healing without surrender, wholeness without depending on anyone else, manifestations, energy, the universe, awakening. At first, it sounded beautiful. The idea that everything I needed was already inside me, that I simply had to unlock it. But every breakthrough demanded another breakthrough. Every answer led to another search. The horizon kept moving, and no matter how far I walked, I never arrived. Eventually, I found myself asking a strange question. If the universe supposedly loved me, why did it feel so silent? Why did the thing I was searching for feel so impersonal? I realized something I hadn't been willing to admit. I wasn't looking for an energy. I was looking for someone who knew me, someone who could answer, someone who could love. So I kept searching. Philosophy became my next refuge. Stoicism taught me resilience. Existentialism challenged me to create meaning. They genuinely helped me think more deeply. I'm grateful for that. But eventually, every road seemed to end in the same place. The burden always came back to me. I had to heal. I had to improve. I had to become stronger. I had to create meaning. I had to save myself. No one ever said those exact words, but somehow, that's where every path quietly led. There's a moment in Alabasta that has always stayed with me. Robin finally reaches the pony clip she spent years searching for, only to discover it wasn't what she had hoped. I know that feeling, not because I was searching for ancient history, but because I knew what it felt like to spend years chasing something only to arrive and still feel empty. Looking back, I don't think my greatest mistake was searching. I think it was believing that if I searched hard enough, I could eventually rescue myself. That belief is exhausting, because if you're responsible for becoming whole, you're also responsible every time you fall apart. And eventually, you run out of strength. And you realize, suddenly, you've become exactly like Robin, trying to carry a weight that was never yours to carry. Not because you're proud, but because somewhere along the way, you stopped believing anyone else could carry it for you. You can carry an impossible weight for a surprisingly long time, especially when it's invisible. You convince yourself you're managing. You keep moving, keep working, keep distracting yourself, keep telling yourself that next week, next month, next year, you'll finally become the person you've been trying so hard to be. Until one day, life asks more from you than you have got left to give. When your own heart becomes exhausting to live with, you'll reach for almost anything that promises relief. Sometimes that's achievement. Sometimes it's entertainment. Sometimes it's endless scrolling. Not because those things are evil, because they're quiet. For a few moments, they drown out the voice telling you you're still not enough. But the silence never lasts. Eventually, the screen turns off, the room is quiet again, and the weight is still there, waiting. When I go back to Enies Lobby now, I don't think Robin's greatest pain was the handcuffs. It was that she genuinely believed carrying the burden alone was the most loving thing she can do. She thought disappearing would save everyone else. She thought isolation was mercy. That's the tragedy. Not because she wanted to die, but because she had forgotten that love allows itself to be carried. I realized I was doing the same thing, not by running from people, but by running from God. I kept thinking, I'll come back when I fix this, or I'll pray when I'm stronger, or maybe even I'll read scripture once I've stopped struggling. As if healing were the admission ticket into His presence, as if I had to rescue myself before I could ask for rescue. Then I noticed something I'd somehow miss every time I watch Enies Lobby. Luffy never argues Robin into believing she's worthy. He doesn't hand her a list of reasons she deserves saving. He simply asks, "What do you want?" Because love doesn't force itself on anyone. It waits. Not because it's powerless, because it's patient. Robin doesn't need more evidence. She needs permission to hope again. Okay, pause. I promise this isn't one of those videos where I look at a character and suddenly say, actually, that's Jesus. Although, this scene is making my job incredibly difficult. Now let's go back. For me, this is actually one of the most beautiful moments ever written. Not because of what Luffy says, but because of what Robin finally says. I want to live. Those aren't words of someone who suddenly became strong. They're the words of someone who finally stopped carrying the impossible burden alone. For 20 years, Robin believed the most loving thing she can do was disappear. Now, for the first time, she chose to receive love instead. I've wondered for years why that scene always left me in tears. I think I finally understand. It isn't just because Robin is rescued. It's because for one brief moment, she stops believing the lie that has defined her entire life. She believes, even if only for a moment, that maybe she isn't beyond saving after all. Then the flag burns. The battle begins. But something even more important has already happened. Robin has said yes. Not to certainty, not to understanding everything, simply to hope. And sometimes, that's where every rescue begins. The first time I watched Robin scream, "I want to live," I was inconsolable. And for years, I couldn't explain why. It wasn't just the animation. It wasn't just the music. It wasn't even because Robin had finally been rescued. There was something underneath all of it. Something I couldn't quite put into words. Looking back, I think I know what it was. I wasn't just watching Robin find the captain. I was longing for someone who would do the same for me. Someone who would see everything. The shame, the failures, the pride, the running, the parts of me I spent years trying to fix. And still come anyway. I didn't know it then, but the ache I felt watching Enies Lobby wasn't created by the story. The story revealed an ache that was already there. And then, something changed. At Sabaody, Robin isn't trying to save everyone anymore. When Kuma appears, she doesn't run away from the crew. She doesn't offer her life. She runs towards them. She runs toward Luffy. Because somewhere between Enies Lobby and Sabaody, she had learned something beautiful. Hope has a direction. When fear returned, she no longer ran into isolation. She ran toward the person who had already proven, "I won't leave you." That moment has always haunted me. The fear in her eyes isn't the fear of death. It's the fear of losing the one place she finally called home. And somehow, that fear feels strangely familiar too. Because coming to faith doesn't mean storms disappear. Sometimes, they become even more confusing. God can feel silent. Prayer can seem unanswered. Old wounds can resurface. The temptation to believe you've been abandoned quietly returns. But look closely at Robin in Tequila Wool. She's different now. Before Enies Lobby, she survived by running. Now, she runs toward people in need. She protects the little girl. She endures the winter. She holds tightly to the river card that points her back to Luffy. She trusts his message. She trusts his timing. She waits for the reunion, not because the storm is over, but because she knows where home is. That is what fate slowly became for me. Not an escape from suffering, not the end of every question, but an anchor. There were still storms. There still are. There are days when anxiety whispers, when shame comes knocking again, when I still want to retreat into self sufficiency. But unlike before, I know which direction to run. Not away, home. One of my favorite moments is easy to miss. Robin is being dragged away by the world government in the Bridge of Hesitation. And what did she do? She bites into the stone with everything she has. Years ago, I thought that scene was about desperation. Now I think it's about perseverance. The world still pulls, temptation still pulls, fear still pulls. But now, she has something worth holding on to. The writer of Hebrews described hope like this: we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. An anchor doesn't remove the storm. It keeps you from drifting when the storm comes. That's what Jesus Christ became for me. Not merely someone who rescued me once, the one who taught me where to run every time I forget. Okay, before we end, I want to clarify. No, Luffy isn't Jesus. He's flawed, he's human, he's one of the greatest fictional characters ever written. But every once in a while, great stories echo something greater than themselves. A captain who declares war on the world because someone he loves believes they're beyond saving. A friend who refuses to leave until the broken person finds the courage to say, I want to live. Those moments move us because they awaken a longing that fiction alone can never satisfy. For years, I thought Enies Lobby was teaching me about Robin. Now, I think it was quietly teaching me about myself. And eventually, it led me to Christ. Not because One Piece replaced the gospel, but because it awakened questions that only the gospel could answer. Robin's story didn't save me. It simply gave me the language for a longing I didn't yet understand. A longing to be fully known, fully loved, and finally, to come home.
The river never fights the valley, still it always finds the sea, moving slowly through the silence, certain where it's meant to lead.
Okay, I want to say thank you to anyone who had stayed till the end of this video. We talked about Robin, a person who believes she's beyond saving. On the next one, we will talk about a person who believed he would never belong. Stay tuned! I want to share, I'm new here. Maybe I hope you subscribe. I'm planning to do a lot more and try to see where it goes.